Welcome back to Politics Nation. As promised, joining me now, presidential candidate and Democratic Senator of California, Kamala Harris. Senator, welcome back to Politics Nation.
Good to be with you, Rev. Good to be with you on this Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Yes, that is good to see you. Now, let me ask you about the breaking news. How do you react to the fact the Washington Post now says that there was a large amount of emails back and forward going over how the White House was going to explain how they stopped the congressional voted for military aid to Ukraine that any number of witnesses have said this week
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they stopped them because of the president saying that they should not get the money until they had publicly announced a investigation of the company involved with Joe Biden's son and Biden's son and Biden himself.
Burisma.
So you said that you didn't know it. Well, if in fact it comes to be the case, and the Washington Post has published this 2 hours ago, how would you react to the fact that the White House went into this mode in writing, back and forth with emails, trying to explain how they stopped military aid to Ukraine?
I'm not at all surprised, Rev. Listen, there's already been a confession, an overt attempt to cover up the crime. And then we saw a week of witnesses who are very highly respected public servants. So there's just more evidence. It just turns out, if the Washington Post report is correct, that there's just even more evidence of what we know, which is that this president has been a lawless president and has served his personal interest and put those above national interest, including national security. And that's why the impeachment proceedings have been going forward, because there clearly is evidence of his wrongdoing, and he should be held accountable.
You have been a prosecutor for much of your career, and if there's a vote for impeachment, it goes to the Senate where you sit. As a prosecutor, what do you think needs to be done in the Senate trial, if there is one, to establish whether or not the president ought to be removed or not? What will you be looking for as a prosecutor? This is not a criminal proceeding, but it is based on evidence.
Well, and to your point, Rev, I'll be looking for evidence, for facts, and then applying those facts and that evidence to the law. But I'll tell you, there's another thing that I'm going to be looking for, and it's for my colleagues across the aisle to speak up. And I know their constituents are. This is a moment where really folks have got to put country before party. Everyone knows this is wrong. This is wrong, what has happened. And it's on the heels of everything else that has happened with this administration and the attitude and the perspective and the conduct of Donald Trump. He has been a lawless president. He has no regard or respect for the members of our intelligence community, who are some of the most trusted in our national security apparatus and are so highly respected around the world and among our allies. He has no respect or regard for what should be the relationships that we have with our allies around the globe in supporting their effort at maintaining a democracy. He has no regard for the protocols and what should be the stature of the President of the United States, which is to always speak with the authority that is grounded in the best interest of the people of our country. And so what I am looking for is also that my colleagues, and perhaps motivated and encouraged and compelled by their constituents, that they speak in the best interest of our country on what is so clearly an abuse of power by Donald Trump.
Now, let me ask you this, and I want to get into politics with you, but one last question on this. One of the things we keep hearing from the Republicans is, if he did it, if he had in fact said he wanted President Zelensky of Ukraine to announce this investigation on the Bidens, and even if he did it, it doesn't rise to the level of impeachment or removal. If in fact he did it, and I know you said you want to see the evidence, if the evidence is there, as we heard testimony to that effect in the House public proceedings, do you feel that rises to the level of impeachment and removal? And if so, why?
He put his personal interest in front of national security. He took and was soliciting a favor from a foreign government to serve his personal political interest. And again, his personal interests are against the interests of national security. So it's not like he was saying, oh, buy me a fur coat. He was asking them to interfere in our democracy and compromising our relationship and our credibility with an ally around what should be America's interest in maintaining and supporting democracies around the world. And to compromise the credibility of the United States of America in that regard means not only the interaction with that particular head of state, but word gets around. It means that the word of the President of the United States is no longer taken to be a word that is spoken with authority and with the best interest of the whole in mind, but instead personal interest. So these are the things that are at play right now, and Rev, I have to say, I think that what we have seen this week really does not call into question the evidence. It really is a matter of whether people in Congress are going to have the will and the courage to act on this, knowing that that our democracy and the credibility and the integrity of our democracy and our system of justice are very much at stake.
Let's get to the race for president. Michael Bloomberg announced today he is running for president. He had made it official. He spent, I believe, $31 million in his first ad buy. How will this affect the race, if at all? How will it affect your race for the nomination, if at all?
Well, look, I'm competing. I'm here in South Carolina. I'm competing in Iowa, and money is sadly and tragically a big factor in who moves up in the polls and who has the ability to speak to the American public in a way that gives you the ability to actually win. Right now, I'm trying to raise the money that we need to be on television in Iowa. My opponents are putting millions and millions of dollars, as you've just said, in terms of Michael Bloomberg, but others are putting millions and millions of dollars in. In fact, I would ask anybody who wants to see us on the air in Iowa and going toe-to-toe with Donald Trump, please visit us at kamalaharris.org. But money is sadly a very big factor in American politics and who might win, which is tragic because the voters should be presented with an equal amount of information about who the candidates are, our track records, our levels of experience, and our intention and plans to actually improve the condition of their lives. In my case, I'll tell you, I think there's a clear contrast that I want more voters to be able to see. We have, on the one hand, a lawless president, and on the other hand, I have, as you have said, spent my entire career fighting for justice and the rule of law. We have Donald Trump, who is a predator. I have spent my entire career going after predators and making sure there is consequence for their predatory behaviors. We have, on one hand, Donald Trump, who is running for a for-profit college. On the other hand, I have a career that included taking out of business for-profit college that was taking advantage of our students and putting profit ahead of education. So money, unfortunately, has a lot to do with where and how frequently you can get your message out.
Deval Patrick has also ended the race. A spokesman for Michael Bloomberg said that part of his running is that he's not impressed with the present field, that they could, in fact, beat Donald Trump. Deval Patrick has not said that. He was on this show last night, but his entry does suggest that he does not think the present field has the candidate that can beat Donald Trump. Why do you think, talking to the American public, why do you think you're the best one to carry the torch for the Democratic Party and that you, in fact, could beat Donald Trump?
Well, I believe that justice is on the ballot in 2020. When we're looking at the fact that, most working families in America are paying more taxes than the 400 richest families in America, justice and economic justice is on the ballot. When you look at the fact that 30 million people don't have access to health care, and we have seniors who are splitting their pills and making decisions about whether they fill their refrigerator or fill their prescription, health care justice is on the ballot. When I look at the fact that our babies, elementary, middle, and high school students, are in utter fear of being shot while they're sitting in a classroom, justice for our children is on the ballot. I have spent my entire career fighting for justice. But these are the things that are the fight. Rev, what I would say that makes a point of distinction between me and many of the people on that stage is we not only know that we have a fight, we need to win. And to win, we're going to need somebody who has the ability to go toe-to-toe against Donald Trump. I have taken on Jeff Sessions, Bill Barr, Brett Kavanaugh. I will take on and win against Donald Trump. The second point is we need somebody who can build up a coalition. And that is not only in the interest of winning, which is speaking to people within the beauty of the diversity of who we are and knowing that we have more in common than what separates us, but building a coalition among the beauty of who we are in our diversity in a way that is about healing and unifying our country. I have lived in many places, I know many cultures, and I know I have a unique ability to build back up the Obama coalition and to unify not only the party but the country, and that is so essential at this moment in time.
All right, Senator Kamala Harris, thank you for being with us tonight. A quick programming note tonight, another presidential candidate, Senator Cory Booker.